Welcome to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcasts.
With 450 million consumers, the EU single market is the largest of its kind and one of the EU's greatest achievements. But 30 years later, as the analyses by Enrico Letta and Mario Draghi demonstrate, challenges remain, and clear EU action is urgently needed to make sure it remains a success story. Stay with us.
The EU single market counts 27 EU member states, plus Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein, and 31 million active companies, most of them SMEs. It provides jobs for 56 million Europeans, and the estimated economic benefits range between 8% and 9% of EU GDP.
Thanks to this, the EU is among the largest trading blocs in the world, representing 15% of world GDP compared with the US's 16% and China's 19%. And it's not only about being an attractive place for foreign investors. It makes the EU a powerful geopolitical actor in an increasingly volatile and complex world.
So yes, the EU single market is all this, and much more. But as recent crises have shown, it's still far from perfect. So what are the main hurdles?
Well, the COVID pandemic first and the war in Ukraine later revealed not only the single market's vulnerability in the face of major external shocks, but also the extent to which Europe's competitiveness relies on a well-oiled single market, ensuring free access to the goods and services EU supply chains need.
Remember the empty supermarket shelves during COVID, the rising energy bills after Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
How could one forget? And the main problem is that it remains highly fragmented, as the analyses put forward in 2024 by former Italian Prime Ministers Enrico Letta and Mario Draghi clearly demonstrate. This makes it difficult for EU companies to scale up and compete internationally, which in turn prevents European citizens and companies from reaping the full benefits.
Exactly. Moreover, 60% of the barriers companies face today are of the same type as were already reported 20 years ago. Now, both reports point at the need to simplify EU rules and cut red tape for companies. They identify digital services, energy, space, and financial services, especially completing the Capital Markets Union as the key sectors where the single market needs further deepening to unlock their full potential.
They also agree on the need to adjust EU competition rules and increase investment, both from the public and private sectors, to finance the EU's strategic goals. For instance, through a savings and investment union, a more flexible approach to state aid, and strategic use of public procurement, as proposed in the Letta report.
On top of the free movement of goods, capital, services and people, Letta also proposes to add a fifth freedom to strengthen research, innovation and education. Let's listen to his words.
This new fifth freedom will not just be about facilitating the movement of research and innovation outputs. It will embed the drivers of research and innovation at the heart of the single market. With this framework, the EU will not only better position itself as a global leader in setting ethical standards for innovation, but also as a creator and pioneer of new technologies.
In his report, Letta makes a powerful political and economic case for single market deepening and broadening, and highlights the importance of addressing its external dimension, enhancing supply chain security, and the EU's strategic autonomy.
And because the future of the single market is intertwined with the EU's green and digital transitions, he stresses that EU policies should promote innovation, sustainability, and digital transformation, while ensuring fair competition and protecting consumer rights.
Similarly, the report presented by former European Central Bank Director Mario Draghi highlights three main ways to reignite growth: closing the innovation gap with the US and China in key technologies, seizing opportunities from the ongoing global decarbonization process, and securing supply chains from geopolitical dependencies that risk turning into vulnerabilities.
To achieve this, it proposes a new EU industrial strategy which will support the scaling up of young, innovative companies, the creation of a true common energy market, an integrated multimodal transport market, increased demand for decarbonization solutions, more resilient supply chains, and help mobilize more private finance. To its author, 2 words capture the essence of the report.
Is urgency and concreteness. It should have in mind 2 new dimensions. One is innovation, and the second one is resilience. We also recommend competition be more forward-looking rather than prudential.
So the 2 reports converge on many points, not least on the need for the EU to finish what it started 30 years ago and complete the single market fast. And it's not just about regulations and policies, it's about ensuring that Europe can lead in the 21st century.
Want to know more? Check out the full briefing by Guillaume Ragonneau on the EPRS website or in our app.
This is a European Parliamentary Research Service podcast.
Thanks for listening.